కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నమో కేవలం బాబా నమో కేవలం బాబా నామ 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 కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలం 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 ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः బాబా నామో కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామో కేవలం బాబా నామ 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 కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలం 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 బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నామ కేవలము బాబా నమో కేవలం బాబా నమో కేవలం బాబా నామ కేవలం Baba Nam Kevalam, 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 Baba Nam Kevalam.
Namaskar to one and every one of you who has logged on to celebrate our spiritual master, Shrii Prabhat Sarkar. I begin by paying salutations to my beloved Guru, Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji, founder of the Ananda Marga mission, the new global Renaissance movement. On this occasion of his centennial celebration, Ananda Marga, South Africa, extends a heartfelt welcome to you to the first of the 4 presentation sessions planned to highlight his unparalleled contributions to society. I began this session with the greeting of Namaskar. We will now share a slide prepared by Geeta Goundan, providing an in-depth understanding of and the significance of Namaskar.
Namaskar and welcome to you all. It gives me pleasure to explain the meaning and significance of Namaskar, which is an important aspect of our spiritual practice. Greeting is an important part of our social psychology, our social makeup. Historically, it has created a sentiment of belonging to a clan, and this sentiment still exists deep within our psyche. It is reflected in our social greeting. Now, take this to a deeper level with a spiritual greeting, that of Namaskar. Namaskar is a greeting of love, of deep love, of divine love. What is the meaning of Namaskar? Our spiritual master, Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji, or Baba, explained as he raised his clasped hands to his forehead, "The divinity within me greets the divinity within you, with all the divine charms of my mind," and then dropped his clasped hands to his heart as he said, "and with the love and cordiality of my heart." These words are infused with his vibration. Namaskar is an expression of devotion, vocalizing it in a very sweet, profound, and loving manner. I shall now do a breakdown of these words to illustrate this. The divinity within me greets the divinity within you. This is acknowledging the divinity, the same consciousness that exists in each and every entity, whether human, plant, animal, animate or inanimate. Consciousness can be defined as that which exists beyond the physical and mental, which is responsible for creation and which exists in each and every atom of creation. So it is also divinity or Brahma. This consciousness is the common thread which runs through creation and which binds all of us in the universal family of consciousness. This is also the practice of seeing the divine in everyone and everything. It is at the same time a wonderful reminder of your own divinity. With all the divine charms of my mind, our little unit minds exist within the cosmic mind, have been created from the same mind stuff as the cosmic mind. It therefore follows logically that it would have the same divine charms as the cosmic mind. This reminds me of Krishna and his magic flute. He was the Pied Piper Supreme, attracting all with the divine charms of his mind, which translated into the irresistibly attractive vibrations of his flute music. A devotee or any person expresses this divine charm when he greets others with namaskar in full awareness and acknowledgement. And the love and cordiality of my heart. What is love? Love is the strongest force in the universe. It has existed for eternity because its source is eternal. Love is that divine expression, that divine gift that is born from the cosmic heart and which flows in abundance through the heart of creation. It is this bond of love which is our true connection with the divine. He is the supreme embodiment of love, and Baba says that as his many reflections upon the earth, we are also that embodiment. We just don't know it. The human heart has infinite capacity to love. We need to extend the radius of this love to encompass all beings in this created universe. And cordiality. This flows naturally from love. It is a natural pleasantness, a desire to please that divine entity before you. Of my heart. The heart is the seat of love, where Parampurush or Brahma takes his seat when it is vibrated with devotion. So we see that namaskar is a greeting of the divine, acknowledging the divine within another. Take strong ideation when doing namaskar for full benefit to oneself and the one being greeted. This is a reminder that the entire universe, each and every particle, is full of consciousness. Practice namaskar also on plants and animals, on birds. Greet the environment with namaskar to see everything as an expression of the same divinity. Everything benefits from divine ideation. My spiritual master speaks in one of his songs with reference to the divine. I see you in the sweet smile of flowers. I find this incredibly sweet and touching. Remember this when you next gaze upon the beauty of a flower. Place your hands upon a tree with closed eyes to feel the life force of that tree, the same as your own, as you greet it with namaskar. Look into the eyes of your pet or any animal to see the soul's reflection of divinity, no different to your own, as you greet it with namaskar. My spiritual master was careful not to kick the pebbles in his path out of the same respect and awareness. If you hold a crystal in your hand, you will also feel its life force as it communicates its consciousness, its intelligence, and its healing. Practice namaskar as you gaze upon the majesty of mountains, that of the ocean, the awesome magnificence of the night sky, as the divinity within you greets the divinity in the magnificence of creation. Feel your oneness with the celestial world through the connection of your mutual divine essence. Baba says that the universe exists within you in microcosmic form, so that you exist within the universe as it exists within you. In conclusion, therefore, let us practice namaskar with full ideation and awareness, that of the divinity within me greeting the divinity within you with full love and respect to benefit yourself and creation. I would humbly ask now that you all join me in greeting each other with namaskar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. A warm and loving namaskar to you all.
I hope that you had found the slide as enlightening as I did. Namaskar, and thank you, Gita. A humble request is for you to please keep all your questions until the end of the program today. Post the title of the presentation and your question on the email brojivanesh@gmail.com. Answers to your questions will be emailed to you within a few days. The question slide with relevant details will be shared at the end of the session. The flame of a lamp lights up countless lamps. The touch of a great personality wakes up innumerable sleeping hearts. The first presenter for today is Sadadavanda. His topic is on the life, biography, and contributions of Shrii P R Sarkar. Sada.
Namaskar. Thank you, Ashika, and namaskar to all of you on the call. I'll just bring up my presentation.
I don't put it. It was the birth of Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji. It was the full moon day of the month of Vaishak, 1921, at 6:07 in the morning. The new sun, whose amorous attraction is felt even before it illuminates the world with its radiance and removes all that is dark and inauspicious, was rising. Since it was the day of Buddha Purnima, birth of Lord Buddha, much of the Eastern world was engaged in meditation. The chorus of morning prayers were heard in every house. At this historical moment, a flow of bliss came down into the house of Lakshmi Narayan, radiating a divine glow. Lakshmi Narayan was impatiently waiting for the desired son. At last there appeared a celestial baby, pure and shining in complexion, with all the characteristics of divinity. He appears as an entity of love, bliss, and compassion. He had come to purify the living beings affected with the three afflictions, namely physical, mental, and spiritual. Needless to say, that newly born son of Lakshmi Narayan and Abharani is today known as Shrii Prabhat Sarkar, spiritually known as Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji, the embodiment of bliss.
Thank you, Ashika. Namaskar once again. Today, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the life, biography, and contributions of Shrii P R Sarkar. This very brief overview will be fleshed out by the presenters that follow today, as well as over the next few weeks. The way I've laid out today's presentation, I've sort of split the life of Shrii P R Sarkar into two, before the formation of Ananda Marga organization and after the formation of the Ananda Marga organization. And then I'll talk very briefly about the biography and then the contributions. Shrii Prabhat Sarkar, also known as Anandamurti or Baba to his followers, was born during the full moon on the 21st of May, 1921 in Jamalpur, in India. His early childhood days was very special. And then he moved on to secondary school and then eventually attended the Vidyasagar College at the University of Calcutta from 1939 to 1944. From 1944 until the early 1950s, Shri Sarkar worked as an accountant at the Indian Railways in Jamalpur. He taught the techniques of Tantra meditation to a select number of his colleagues, and gradually more people were drawn to the spiritual practices he taught. In 1955, Shri Sarkar founded the Ananda Marga movement, or translated into English, Ananda Marga is the path of bliss. It is a socio-spiritual movement with a two-part mission that states self-realization and service to all, with a spiritual practice that synthesizes Vedic and Tantric philosophies. These ideas are collected in a series of books called Samgiita Samgraha, which form part of the philosophical scriptures of Ananda Marga ideology. During the latter part of his life, his main residence was in Lake Gardens in Kolkata, West Bengal. He also spent much time, especially early on, in the all-round development community he founded based on his PROUT theory, PROUT standing for Progressive Utilization Theory, at Ananda Nagar. Ananda Marga opened regional offices in various countries, including the US in 1969, and by 1973 had established approximately 100 local centers teaching yogic and social philosophies, with several thousand members, some living communally in the ashrams. In 1971, Shri Sarkar was imprisoned in India for various allegations. While in prison, he was poisoned. On 1st April, after recovering his health, he began fasting in support of a demand for an inquest into his poisoning. That demand was never met, so he continued his fast for more than 5 years until the 2nd of August 1978, when he was released from jail after having been acquitted of all charges. Just before his passing, he founded Ananda Marga Gurukul, or University, on the 7th September 1990, an educational network to preserve and develop his legacy through research, teaching, and service. Shri Sarkar passed on the 21st of October 1990. During his life, many of his followers, including many journalists, inquired about his biography. But Shri Sarkar always maintained that we should focus on his mission and ideology and not him as a personality. His favorite response to all these inquiries was, "I was a mystery, I am a mystery, and I shall always remain a mystery." Over the next few weeks, we will endeavor or try to unravel this mystery or profound legacy of Shrii P R Sarkar through our presentations. These are some of the many contributions that he has left as part of his legacy. Okay? And as I was saying, over the next few weeks, we will cover many of these topics. For example, the speaker that will follow after me, Rita, will talk on cosmology. On the 27th of June, there will be a discussion on neo-humanism by Brother Jivanesh. And on the 11th of July, there will be a discussion on Prout. And further discussions on the 25th of July on biopsychology. And hopefully by the end of this 4 weeks, we'll give you some insight into the many contributions of Shrii P R Sarkar. Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar wrote over 250 books on subjects as diverse as mysticism, cosmology, sociology, history, education, yoga, medicine, ethics, psychology, humanities, linguistics, economics, ecology, farming, music, and literature. He delivered several thousand discourses and composed over 5,000 mystical songs. He taught the science of meditation for self-realization directly and indirectly to millions of people. He was undoubtedly a glittering personality, unique in history, an unparalleled thinker and activist. But most importantly, through his personal example, profound philosophy, systematic spiritual practices, and far-reaching service projects, he has been and continues to be the sole inspirational drive for the universal mission of Ananda Marga. It is impossible to do justice to this topic because of Shrii Sarkar's special existence, but hopefully I have given you a glimpse. Thank you and namaskar.
Thank you, Satha, for your excellent overview on the life, biography, and contributions of our beloved Sadguru, Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji. Just a reminder for those who have just joined now, please reserve all questions until the end of the program today. Post the title of the presentation and your questions on the email brojivanesh@gmail.com. Answers will be emailed to you within a few days. The question slide with relevant details will be shared at the end of this session. In this universe, there is nothing beyond the Supreme Consciousness. You always remain within His circle, merging in the nectar of cosmic consciousness. And this mergence is the ultimate aim of all living beings. Our next presenter, Rita Lalu, will now enlighten you on cosmology. Rita.
It is not at all easy to evaluate this great personality by an ignorant person like myself. So I very humbly present to you today, in a nutshell, the philosophy of the cycle of creation by Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji. In Ananda Marga philosophy, one can find a theory of creation which is not only in accord with the present views of modern science, but can also serve to guide scientists in their endeavors to find the answers to many cosmological issues, questions which are not as yet unresolved. This tantric theory of creation, while scientific, is also profoundly spiritual. The cycle of creation begins in the most subtle form and evolves through cause and effect to the crude stage of life. This first half of the cycle is called Sanchara, and after billions of years starts a progress back to the subtle state known as Prati-Sanchara, where there is eternal and absolute peace. Who or what is Brahma? In the beginning of the cycle of creation, it lies in a solid triangular shape. This state is called Nirguna Brahma. Here there is absolute peace and is the goal of human beings to reach this point. The cosmic entity is Brahma. It is everything. Everything exists within it and nothing exists outside it. Brahma is composed of two parts, the cognitive principle, which is consciousness, and the operative principle, force. They are inseparable. Shiva and Shakti. Consciousness is assigned the male gender and is known as Purusha. Shiva or Shiva, he is the nucleus. He is the nucleus and witnessing entity of the universe. Force is assigned the female gender and is known as Prakriti or Shakti. She is the force which, with Purusha's direction, transform a part of him into the universe. She is a blind force and is always under his control. He does not act but allows her to act. He is the witness and the witnessed, and she is the action. Metamorphosis. Continued bondage by the static force on the cosmic ectoplasm, which is the cell, causes further metamorphosis of Purusha into the fundamental factors of the universe. The universe is composed of five fundamental factors: ethereal factor, which is space; the aerial factor, gas; luminous is heat or light; liquid and solid. All factors exist within the cosmic mind from which they came, and the cosmic mind in turn is inherent within them all. And as the cosmic mind also exists within Purusha, everything is a part of him and he is within everything. The dominance of Prakriti over Purusha increases, with each successive stage being cruder and denser than the one before it, the solid factor being the crudest stage of manifestation. Due to the continued pressure of the static force on the solid factor, eventually the pressure becomes excessive and one of two things occurs. In an explosion, if the factors are not in the right balance, eventually the solid factor as a celestial body will explode and its constituent factors will merge back into their respective factors of the universe. Or if the environment is congenial and the factors are in the right balance, some portion of the solid factor gets pulverized subtler than ether, and the cells within it manifests as mind stuff, which gives the feeling of done I, to a new unit mind. That mind gets attached to an appropriate body and controls the vital energy of that body, which in turn controls the body's function. Now the witnessing consciousness, Purusha, begins to withdraw the power from his operative principle. He has allowed her to bind him to the ultimate state of crudity. This process is called sanchara, and he now gradually contracts her power until the unit mind merges back into him. This recurring phase is known as prati sanchara. In the course of prati sanchara, the unit mind gradually evolves over many different births in many different bodies. It adopts more complex physical structures as it evolves, appropriate to its desire of expression. In the course of development, the mutative force eventually becomes dominant and the doer I is realized. Then the intellect or ego manifests. Finally, the sentient force dominates and intuition is manifested. In this diagram, we see the point of Nirguna Brahma, which is Brahma in the most peaceful state. And after in the cycle of creation, everything gets evolved into the crude state of solid, gas, liquid, and so forth. And eventually starts to, after gaining intuition, starts to go back to Nirguna Brahma. So we may find creatures and plants with only instinct, or with all three, instinct, intellect, and intuition. In undeveloped beings, it is instinct which dominates. In developing beings, there is an increase of intellect over instinct. But it is only at the human stage that intellect is predominant. At this stage, the mind starts to question the nature of its own existence, and the spiritual quest begins. An attraction for the supreme nucleus begins. This attraction is called devotion or bhakti. Devotion is love for the infinite. It is said that when devotion is attained, everything is attained because it leads to final merger with the Supreme. Spiritual practice, therefore, is the process of transcending the mind into the consciousness within which it exists. Where consciousness exists, both as the nucleus witnessing entity and the metamorphosed cosmic mind, that state of Brahma is known as Saguna Brahma. Where consciousness exists only in its unmetamorphosed state, Prakriti here is dormant, and that state is known as Nirguna Brahma. Brahma adopts a physical body of the 5 fundamental factors and manifests as Mahasambhuti or Satguru, the highest Guru. It is said that when the desire for liberation arises in the mind, one attains one's Satguru. He is the Guru in the real sense of the term because he is the bridge between Nirguna and Saguna Brahma and is able to teach the proper method of transcendence from the manifested worldly state to the unmanifested state of supreme bliss. This is essentially a devotional process. Going back home, our source is the ocean of cosmic consciousness. Knowingly or unknowingly, our very composition is nothing but consciousness. Sometimes we find it difficult to remember where we came from. Sometimes we also find it difficult to see where we are going. This is natural. Questions that arise are, who am I? Brahma. Where did I come from? Brahma. Where am I going to? Brahma. I was never born. I can never. Life, death, and samskara. Deep within everyone is the awareness that there is a greater entity witnessing our every action. We might try to hide from that being, but if we contemplate the matter deeply, we feel certain that nothing has been or can be concealed. Regarding life, it is first important to realize that everything in this manifest universe emits vibrations. Everything is vibrational. Your body is vibrational, and so also is your mind. Life exists when there is a vibrational parallelism between a particular physical body and a unit mind. The question arises as to what actually occurs at the time of death. The answer is that with the dissociation of the mind from the body naturally breaks down and is recycled. But the mind enters into a long and deep dreamless sleep and remains floating within the cosmic mind until such time as nature can link it up with a suitable body to carry on with the expression of its life. So how does nature link up a particular mind with a particular body? And here we approach the subject of samskara. Everything is vibrational and everything is uniquely vibrational. What really distinguishes the living beings from one another is their psychic makeup, their samskaras. In this long lifespan of ours, stretching back millions of years, we perform many actions for which we must undergo some reaction. Not all of those reactions can be undergone in the same lifetime as that in which the original action occurred. Those stored up reactions are known as samskaras, and it is primarily these samskaras that differentiate one living being from another. It is on the basis of samskaras attached to a bodiless mind that nature selects an appropriate body for that being's next life segment. The body must serve as a vehicle for the exhaustion of those samskaras. Samskaras can be broken down into three types: inborn, imposed, and acquired. At the time of birth, you carry over many samskaras from past lives. Those are known as inborn samskaras. Due to the community in which you live, your family, your friends, your society, many samskaras get imposed upon you. These are known as imposed samskaras. And as a consequence of your own original actions in your current life segment, new samskaras are created. These are known as acquired samskaras. To attain salvation, you must exhaust all of your inborn, imposed, and acquired samskaras. At the same time, you must also guard against any new samskaras. So how is this possible? First of all, you can burn off all of your existing samskaras with your spiritual practices. And secondly, you can prevent the acquisition of new samskaras by being well established in all of the principles of yama and niyama, especially brahmacharya. Yama is a Sanskrit term, and it complements niyama, which represents a right living or ethical rule within Hinduism and yoga. It means reining in or control. These are restraints for proper conduct as given in the Veda. They are a form of moral imperatives, commandments, rules, or goals. While performing any action, you will have to remember that Brahma is the one being served. Brahma is the service. Brahma is the one serving. and Brahma is the purpose of the service. In this way, by renouncing every trace of the ego of doership, you do not acquire new samskaras, and the elimination of each old samskara takes you one step closer to the cherished goal of life. Guru, the prefix Gu signifies darkness and Ru means remover. One who removes the darkness of ignorance is Guru. The goal of Tantra is to realize God. Only a Mahasambhuti or Satguru can lead you back to Nirguna Brahma. Only that exalted being residing at the vertex of the triangle of forces can qualify as the guide that takes you to your final destination. When does he appear? He comes on earth when there is too much sin and it is difficult for virtuous people to live on this earth. A Mahasambhuti comes to earth with a specific mission of restoring Dharma by launching a ceaseless fight against all injustice and sin. There are a few notable criteria by which to distinguish a Satguru. He himself is a born guru and has no spiritual guru. He comes with a specific mission, which is to restore morality and dharma. The entire society becomes divided between moralists and immoralists. A fight between them is inevitable, and ultimately dharma comes out victorious. His emergence means a new era of white peace and dharma. He needs no sadhana, but just to set an example, he performs sadhana with the masses. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Notable Mahasambhutis are Shiva, 7,000 years ago, Krishna, 3,000, 5,000 years ago. Qualities of Mahasambhuti are inherent in Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji, lovingly referred to as Baba. Everything is born out of me, everything is maintained in me, and finally everything merges in me. I am that Brahma, one without the second. Namaskar. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Rita, for your brilliant presentation on cosmology. When a person is established in devotion, one becomes able to understand the greatness and magnificence of the Supreme Consciousness. The understanding at this moment is born of real experience through taste. Sweet things like mango and sugar can be distinguished by taste. One cannot enjoy the flavor of mango by seeing its reflection in water. One will have to climb the tree, pluck the mango, and taste it. Similarly, experience in the spiritual realm also can be had only after climbing a step on the tree of devotion. Only then can one understand the brilliance and greatness of the transcendental cosmic entity. Our third and final presenter for session 1 is Lusha Gokul, also known as Manju. Her topic is on devotion and Prabhat Samgiita. Lusha.
Namaskar. Thank you, Ashika. My deepest salutations to our beloved and revered Guru, Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar, spiritually known as Shri Shrii Anandamurti ji, on this auspicious occasion of his centennial birth celebrations. Please join me on my journey on the path of devotion that is never ending, searching for the great. My parents are devotees of Lord Krishna, and as I was growing up, I enjoyed listening to my dad telling stories of Mirabai, who remains the epitome of devotion and dedication of love and service for Lord Krishna. All her thoughts and actions were immersed in devotion for her creator. Mirabai was a devotional saint who frequently experienced the state of spiritual Vrindavan. In this realm, the spiritual intoxicating sound of the divine flute is always heard. My parents would also play God's movies. I particularly loved the ones where Lord Krishna would play the flute and dance with gopis in Vrindavan. While I loved watching them, I also felt extreme sadness that I never got to be with Krishna and dance with him. When I was introduced to my guru, Shrii Prabhat Sarkar, and his teachings, this sadness was dispelled and I entered a new dawn. I learned that I am in Krishna's mind and he in mine, and he is as close or as far as I want him to be. There exists the Supreme Consciousness, from whom the universe emanates. The Supreme Consciousness is in everyone's mind, and everyone is in the mind of the Supreme One. The Supreme Entity is everywhere. Our ultimate goal is to return and merge into the Supreme Consciousness like a drop of water into the ocean or sugar into water. With COVID, we often hear, if you cannot go outside, go inside. What does this really mean? It is journeying deep within our inner self, deep within the depths of our mind and heart to find the Supreme Consciousness. Now, regarding the goal, what should be the path? What should be the mode of our thoughts? How to do it? How to come in close contact with the Supreme One? How to become one with the Supreme Consciousness? Some people say, go on doing good work. You will come in contact with him. You will become one with him. Action may lead you towards the goal, towards the universal self, or action may drift you away from the universal self. There may be bad actions. So one may or may not reach the destination by dint of actional faculty. And some people say, by dint of one's knowledge, spiritual knowledge, one will attain salvation. One will reach the goal. But again, the result may or may not be in your favor. Shri Prabhat Sarkar says there remains the third cause. It is the cause of devotion, which will certainly lead one to your final destination. The teachings of my guru are vast but precise and explicit. He gave his philosophy in discourses which have been published into books. I would like to share extracts on devotion from his discourses. The following extract is from a discourse titled Human Life and Its Goal, given on 18 September 1979 DMC in Reykjavik. What is devotion? Devotion is withdrawing all your propensities from all external objects and also from all psychic objects or psychic pabula, and guarding that collective propensity unto the Supreme Universal I. O Supreme Entity, O Paramaparusha, I love nothing else. I love you. And why do I love you? In the first phase, the spiritual aspirant, the spiritual devotee says, O Lord, I love you. Why? Because by loving you, I get pleasure and for nothing else. I want nothing from you. I want nothing from you. I want you. I don't want anything from you. Because if I want something else from you, that something will be something external, something of the objective world. And everything of the objective world is finite. And that finite object or those finite objects cannot give me pleasure of permanent nature. But, O Supreme Entity, O Paramparusha, you are infinite. You are of infinite attributions and qualifications. So, if I get you, I'll get infinite pleasure from you. That's why you are my goal and not the objects that I expect or expected from you in the past. This is the first phase of devotion. But in the final phase of devotion, the devotee says, no, no, no. I love you, not because I get pleasure by loving you. I love you because I want that you should get pleasure by my love. That is, my love is just to give you pleasure, not to give me pleasure. In order to give you pleasure, I love you. I want nothing. And I don't want you. I want that I should be yours. I don't want you. I want that I should be yours. This is the final phase of devotion. And this is the final word of bhakti or devotion. So the path of spirituality is very simple. It is not at all complicated. Your goal is the supreme I, the supreme universal I, the supreme creator. I said just now, devotion for whom? In ordinary language, we use the word God for the supreme entity, the supreme generator, operator, and destroyer. For generation, you use G. For operator, you use O. And for destruction, destroyer, you use D. God. He is the goal. And nothing else in this universe can be your goal or desideratum. In devotion, there is no scope for being puffed up with vanity. Because in devotion, finally, you want to surrender yourself. Finally you want, oh Lord, I love you just to give you pleasure. And oh Lord, I don't want you. You just take me as yours. One must follow the path of the yogi, and one must accept the universal entity as one's supreme goal. There is no alternative. As the universal I is the supreme creator, supreme generator, everything in this universe is his progeny, and he is the progenitor. He is the Supreme Father. You have a family relation with their supreme entity and not a relationship of external formality. He is yours. And you should also remember that nothing in this is external for him. Everything is within. Nothing is without. So you have been created by him and you are in him. And because he is your supreme goal, finally you will be with him. You will be one with him. For this, you require no special education, no knowledge of philosophy, and no other external attributions. Supreme love for the supreme universal entity will make you one with him. This has been published in Subhashita Samgraha, part 21. The next extract is from the discourse Yoga and Tantra, given on the 26th of October, 1979, TMC in Godapur. A devotee will think, I may be a virtuous person. I may be poor. I may be learned or foolish. But, O Lord, I belong only to you. And a devotee thinks of the Lord just as people think of their nearest and dearest ones. He thinks, Parampurusha is mine. And in this process of constant ideation, his or her mind gradually expands. From this sort of closeness, a person ultimately becomes one with Param Atma. Such a person of devotion is called a bhakta. This has been published in Discourses on Tantra, Volume 2. The last extract is from the discourse, The Only Cult, given on 8 May 1979, evening in Fish, Switzerland. The intellectual giant of India, about 1300 years ago, in the post-Buddhistic era, was Shankaracharya. He says he was a giant intellectual. He said, amongst all the approaches, amongst all the cults, the best one is the cult of devotion. So that aspirant is the blessed one who has developed this cult of devotion. You may or may not be an intellectual. You may or may not be established in the actional faculty. But if you can develop love for him, devotion for him, you are sure to be successful. Now, how to develop this cult of devotion? The idea is that the entire universe, is his object, and he is the supreme subject. He sees everything, and you do not see him. Now, how can he be objectivated when he is the supreme subjectivity? The idea, the spirit, or the secret to develop devotional cult is to think while doing anything, while doing any mundane duty or doing any spiritual practice. You should always remember that he is subject. He is seeing what you are doing. He is hearing what you are thinking. You cannot do anything secretly. He is always with you. Published in Ananda Marga, Part 12, Baba in Fish. I have the utmost respect and deepest love for my Guru. I have realized that it is through my love for him, following his teachings, following his footprints, that I will strengthen my devotion and find my Krishna in my mind and merge with him. When I do service, sing Prabhat Samgiita and Kirtan, and do my meditation consistently, sincerely, with strong determination and proper ideation, something special happens. When singing Kirtan and I'm concentrated and absorbed, all I can say mentally is, my dearest and nearest, I love you. I want to be yours. When sitting in meditation, a very strong feeling enters my body. Feels like it is entering each cell of my body. I can't explain the feeling, so I say it is magical. It is beautiful, sweet, subtle, peaceful, blissful. My each cell vibrates, and I feel a sweet flow of extreme love and joy. I grab this feeling and do not want to let it go or lose it. Other times in meditation, I feel an overpowering feeling of love in the whole area of my body, from heart to top of my head. The feeling becomes uncontrollable and I cry. At other times, I have a strong feeling of peace with a deep connection with my inner self. A few months ago, I heard my inner voice say, absorb yourself in Prabhat, Samgiita and Kirtan to reach your goal. Then I started thinking, now how do I do this? One morning, I woke up with a desire in a way that I never felt before. It was a desire to learn to play the keyboard. My inner voice continued guiding me and said to learn more Prabhat Samgiita. And then, as if everything was planned out for me, Didi Ananda Prabhat started Prabhat Samgiita classes. And an Ananda Marga friend, Madhumita, started keyboard lessons, which I joined. Since then, in my wakeful hours, my heart feels so much lightness and soft like a furry teddy bear, full of love and bliss. When I sing and listen to Prabhat Samgiita and Baba Nam Kevalam Kirtan, I feel extremely strong love and devotion for the Supreme Being. I easily feel strong emotions. I cannot fully explain my feelings. It is divine. And my wish is for everyone to feel this way. Prabhat Samgiita is a collection of 5,018 songs composed over a span of 8 years by Shri Prabhat Sarkar. He has created something special in the world of music, a unique fusion of devotion and exuberance to bring about a great spiritual, devotional vibration all over the world. The mind ideating on the meaning, the inner meaning, and then the melody or the tune, both combine together to create the spiritual vibration. Through these devotional songs, he described every expression of devotion that one could possibly feel for the Supreme Entity. Prabhat Samgiita takes the mind from limitedness to limit
So
Sorry, it looks like we have got a little bit of a technical glitch. I'll start again. Prabhat Samgiita 158. Song composed by Shri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar in Kolkata, 17th of the 12th, 1982. You are in the minds of all, and all are in your mind. In pain and pleasure, unknowingly, all long for your grace. Come closer to me. Come still closer. All seek your grace. You sympathize with the sorrows of all. You are the eternal companion. Your enchanting flute and sweet smile break all barriers and flood my heart with joy. Beyond the ocean of darkness, you are the effulgent light. That's why, under the spell of dreams, of all loves, yours is the greatest. All dance in your rhythm. তুমি সবার মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে। তুমি সবার মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে। দুঃখে সুখে না জেনে তাই, দুঃখে সুখে না জেনে তাই, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে। এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে। তুমি সবার মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে। তুমি সবার মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে। তুমি সবার বেতাবেদি, তুমি সবার বেতাবেদি, নিত্য কলে তুমি সাথী, নিত্য কলে তুমি সাথী। তব মোহনবাসী আর মধু হাসি, মোহনবাসী আর মধু হাসি, বন বঙ্গা সুপ্তে উপছে, বন বঙ্গা সুপ্তে উপছে। এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে। আন্ধার সাগর পরি তুমি আলো, আন্ধার সাগর পরি তুমি আলো, সবার চেয়ে পাশো বেশি ভালো, সবার চেয়ে পাশো বেশি ভালো। স্বপন গড়ে মনে তাই, স্বপন গড়ে মনে তাই, তোমার ছন্দে সবে নাচে, তোমার ছন্দে সবে নাচে। Esho kache, esho waro kache, esho kache, esho waro kache, shabai tabo kripa jache, sabai tabo kripa jache, tumi shaba mone acho, sabai tumar mone ache, তুমি সবা মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে, দুঃখে সুখে না জেনে তাই, দুঃখে সুখে না জেনে তাই, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, এসো কাছে, এসো আরো কাছে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, সবাই তব কৃপা যাচে, তুমি সবা মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে, তুমি সবা মনে আছো, সবাই তোমার মনে আছে. Thank you everyone for listening to my mystic journey of devotion. Namaskar.
Thank you, Lusha. Thank you for your amazing presentation and sharing your heartfelt experiences on devotion and Prabhat Samgiita. Kirtan is the singing of a mantra aloud while ideating on the Supreme Being. It inculcates the feeling of bliss and prepares the mind for meditation. Listen to the Kirtan being played with the mantra Bhavanam Kevalam. Ideate on its meaning, love is all there is, and enjoy the guided meditation by Geeta Goundan, who will lead you to an experience of spiritual bliss.
a short guided meditation, an introduction to the experience of meditation if you like. So, if we are ready, please seat yourselves comfortably in your chairs. You may kick off your shoes if you like. Close your eyes as you follow the sound of my voice. Allow your focus to go within as you concentrate on your breathing, which is deep and regular. Take a deep breath in, hold, and then slowly exhale. Take another deep breath in, hold, and slowly exhale until this becomes automatic. Feel yourself relax with each breath that you take. Now, imagine that you are sitting on the shores of a vast, beautiful blue lake, surrounded by snow-capped mountains, trees and flowers. It is a beautiful scene, a clear, sunny day. You are all alone in this beautiful tranquility. There is not a sound to disturb the silence. As you breathe deeply, feel that all your cares melt away, that you are at peace with yourself and the world. Feel that you are surrounded by white light, peace and love, which floods your being. From the crown of your head through to the tips of your toes. This is the cosmic love, the cosmic energy which surrounds us all the time. Feel yourself connect with this consciousness, this bliss that is outside you and within you, as you feel yourself cradled in this love. You can now start to silently say your mantra, which is Baba Nam Kevalam. Baba Nam Kevalam is a universal mantra which means God is all there is, or love is all there is. They are one and the same. Keep repeating this mantra while keeping the ideation. Baba Nam Kevalam. Love is all there is. Or Baba Nam Kevalam. God is all there is. Carry on repeating this with the ideation until you hear my voice leading you to the end of meditation. Keeping your eyes closed until I ask you to reopen them, you may stop taking your mantra. Still with closed eyes, now return to an awareness of your body. Become aware of the chair in which you are seated and the room. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath if you like. When you are ready, very slowly open your eyes. I hope you have enjoyed this brief experience of meditation and that it has been a meaningful one for you. This direct experience of consciousness through meditation. If you are interested in learning more advanced techniques of meditation, please note the contact numbers given in the program. If you are located outside of South Africa, please contact an Ananda Marga office closest to you. We are international, so there is bound to be an office close to where you are located. I do hope that you are inspired to explore the journey of meditation and wish you joy in the process. Thank you so much for participating. A warm and loving namaskar to you all.
What a wonderful experience of absolute tranquility. Thank you so much, Rita. And now we've come to the moment where we need to offer gratitude to everyone that made this session possible. Our vote of thanks. I would like to first and foremost say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the overall coordinator of the Footprints of PR Sarkar program, Shakuntala Singh, fondly known as Shakudidi. Your steadfast determination and quiet leadership is indeed an inspiration. Thank you so much, Shaku. Our tech support, Sita Sankar, your effort and hard work is what has made this session possible. A heartfelt thank you, Sita. Our presenters from the session 1 group, Lusha, our team leader, Rita, Gita, and Satha, all of whom are members of Ananda Marga for more than 30 years. All your time and dedication putting the presentation so beautifully together is truly appreciated. Brother Jivanesh, a very big thank you for providing the platform to have all the questions answered. Family and friends, including our spiritual Ananda Marga family, your invaluable support has been truly encouraging and appreciated. But most importantly, I'd like to thank each and every one of you that have joined us today. I hope that you leave this first session with plenty of spiritual food for thought. We really appreciate the interest shown and hope that you have learned something and have been inspired to learn more from our next session, which would be on the 27th of June. Now, a final reminder to kindly send your questions to brojivanesh@gmail.com. A reminder again, answers will be emailed to you within a few days. Please view the question slide that is now being shared. A final namaskar from me, Ashka Govinda, your program coordinator. Thanks once more. Namaskar.
Baba naam kevalam, 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 Baba naam kevalam.
The recording has stopped.
Kevalam.